Hi everybody. This week I'm going to be doing a video on finances. Basically, everyone's talking about the cost of living, got a rise of energy prices, we're still paying loads of money for gas and petrol, and we need to basically button down on what we're spending, and because our money is going to be going into other areas. Now, one of the ways in which I learned how to manage my money better was, and I'll put 5 tips in my blog this week. And you'll get more detail in my blog, by the way. So if you follow my blog, becomeunstuck.co.uk, you'll see more detail about what I'm talking about here. But my first tip is that you stop debting, and debting is basically taking out any unsecured debt or borrowing any more unsecured debt today. That's how I had to start. I had to just stop today. So I didn't put any more money on my credit cards. I used my overdraft no more, and I didn't take out any more unsecured loans. So unsecured debt is basically anything that's not secured on an item. So car finance is obviously secured on the car. So if I got behind on my payments for my car finance, I wouldn't necessarily owe them any more money. They would take my car, although I might have to pay a little bit extra, for administration fees or maybe interest. But the main portion of that loan would be covered by that car itself. So obviously mortgage is another one, and it's not so popular over here anymore, but pawn shops is another secured debting facility. So basically, stop debting today, and just try and think of ways. If you need more money or you haven't got enough money, try and think of more ways that you can get money than borrowing, and that's another thing I can help you with. Step 2, I carried a little black book around with me, so I wrote down everything that I spend. So it'd be parking £1.20, coffee £3.40. I do this every day and total it up, and then at the end of the week I do a weekly total, and then at the end of the month I would have a total of how much I was monthly paid, so I could see how much what my income was, and that would be written down in my book also, and then I could see what I was spending all my money on. And initially I would be spending more money than I earn. So this isn't a budgeting exercise. All I'm asking you to do is write down what you spend your money on, because you need to know, really. It's good for you, it gives you clarity, but it gives you ownership. And it's tough initially. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to see how much I was spending. But actually, it doesn't matter how much or what you're spending your money on at the moment. All we're looking to do is see where the money's going. It's not a shaming exercise at all. So try and do that. If you can't take a book around with you, then keep receipts for everything so that you can tell exactly what you're going on, and try and give as much detail as possible. So if I'm buying deodorant or whatever, I don't need to put deodorant necessarily, but I could put toiletries. But I do myself. I want to know how much I'm paying on toiletries, what my deodorant spend, my shampoo, because I like to know, and it goes in its little box. When you've done that, you'll have a total, obviously, under each column at the end of the month, where you've got a list of how much you pay for going out, eating out, how much you pay for normal stuff which you need, the essentials. And once you know what your basics are, then you'll know how much your luxuries, how much money you've got left to spend on your luxuries. And energy and electricity, gas, heating, that's all really essential stuff. So your money needs to be going into keeping yourself warm, keeping it, if you've got kids, they need to be kept warm. You need to be spending money on the electricity and gas, no matter how much it costs. What you'll have to do is just try and get the money from elsewhere that you've been spending in other departments. So the next step, I would say, is getting a spending plan. So basically, you've got your book of all the amounts that you spend. So how much, if you spend a lot of money on drinking out, then have a total for how much you spend on, going to the pub. If you're eating out is your thing, or going for coffees or cigarettes, whatever it is, have an amount so you know exactly how much you spend on that item. Because effectively, all of those things are luxury items. You don't essentially need them, so they can be brought down. Obviously we all need our rewards. We need to go off and enjoy ourselves, but equally, we may not need to go out as often as we do to enjoy ourselves. So, this is just a bit of a clarity exercise, like I say. Now, once we've done a spending plan, we do a lot of columns, obviously, of how much we're going to be spending. So it's a forecast of what we're going to be spending next month. So your black book will be the first source of costs that you can put into your spending plan for the month ahead. And then you need to, once you've done that, then you need to start thinking about anything that won't have been paid for this month. So any annual subscriptions, or you might have an MOT that's due, that's extra to what you've been spending this month. So again, that needs to go in the spending plan. The spending plan is an ideal way of saying, okay, so I'm going to need this much money, and then you've got a choice. So if this next month's money is more than you got incoming, you're either going to have to reduce your costs, or you're going to have to earn some more money from somewhere, and it's your choice. And this way, you're in control. You have a choice now. You're not coming from the reactive sense. You're in a proactive sense. So therefore, it's a more positive place you're coming from. So if you know, for instance, that you're going to probably spend about £2,000 next month, but you've only got 1,800 quid coming in, you're going to need to get another 200 quid. So is there anything you can do at the weekend, or is there a skill set that you can use for something else, to get some money in? So spending plan, once you've got that done, then step 4 and tip 4 is to write down all the money that you owe, and that includes family, friends. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're paying them back at the moment, but it's how much you owe. This is really tough. If you've got a considerable amount of debt owing, this can be quite a painful and tough exercise to do, but again, it gives you clarity. I'm going on about clarity so much because vagueness is the destroyer of our peace of mind. If you're in any sort of trouble, it's usually because you're not researching, or you're not aware of what the situation at hand. You're in denial of some sort, or you're trying to avoid the truth. And vagueness is where we can all sit and play and pretend everything's okay, but actually at the end of the day, at some point, something's going to come around the corner and hit us, and it's not going to be friendly. So basically, we need to write down all the people we owe money to, or companies or organisations, and then we need to have a column for who they are, how much you owe them, how much your minimum payment or your payment is every month, and then you need to put on the interest rate. And the interest rate is really key, because you need to be able to see how much actually you're paying back. Because if you're tempted at any point to get some more loans or get some more finance from somewhere else, you'll have a list of how much, or how annoying it is that you're paying so much back when you've actually only borrowed this much. And again, it's clarity. You're seeing where money's being drained from your own resources. My fifth and final tip is, don't do this as a berating exercise. This is a clarity exercise. This is for you to be able to sit there and say, right, this is the situation, as hard as it is and how raw it feels when you've got everything in front of you. This is the first step at the beginning of the rest of your life with your finances. And if you can keep doing these things, this will give you confidence, it will give you peace of mind, and it gives you your power back. So you have control again over your finances. So when you've got all of that information in front of you, it's not only something that's going to give you a bit of character, because it's a strength of character thing, it's going to give you a bit of a foundation of responsibility. And when you become responsible and accountable for yourself, that's when you're really in control. So being out of control of all these finances is dissipating. It eats away at our self-esteem. when you get in control of it, it can become a positive, something that you can actually foresee a problem and do the necessary before it becomes a problem. So I hope this has been of use. Please use my blog for more information, and if you need any more help or coaching through this, then that's what I'm here for. So get in touch, martin@becomeunstuck.co.uk, and yeah, all the very best for the week ahead.